Hello, everyone. Welcome to the beginner room. We here with trading expert Gil Paz for his weekly outlook session in the beginner room. And in that case, we're very excited to kick off this session. Gil, how are you? How are things?
I'm doing very good. New months, new opportunities. It is one of the most exciting months, I have to say, in general. September has the highest volatility in historical view. Um, Normally, the markets are not doing well in September. So we will see if this is happening also this year. Now, for us traders, it doesn't matter if it goes up or if it goes down. We just want to have volatility, and I think we will get it.
Excellent. That is really exciting. And before we actually dive into this quite practically, I do want to say hello to all of our viewers across the board. You guys, those of you tuned in via YouTube, comments, questions, anything you'd like to leave us with, feel free to pop us a message over there. Or if you're tuned in right here within live education, just within the xm.com website, feel free to do the same, access the chat, and let us know if you have any comments or questions. I do want to make a little bit of a comment with regards to September and maybe ask a question here.
Hmm.
Is it because we kind of come out of the month of August, which is I think also somewhat on record a little bit slower due to the fact that it's a holiday period most of the time, not so many fundamentals, and then we very quickly dive into a month where we've got those fundamentals lined up all together. Does this play a role at all?
Absolutely. So we have in August, normally there is no interest rate decision of the Fed. There is no interest rate decision of the ECB. As you mentioned, they do make summer holiday, even central bank bosses. Normally they are meeting in Jackson Hole. And in Jackson
Mm,
Hole, there is a discussion going on about current problems, and normally they come up with some kind of solutions, but they're not introduced in Jackson Hole. They will be introduced in September. So in September, we have all the very important interest rate decision that could even pivot from previous policies. So this is why we have September normally very volatile. As you said, August, no interest rate decision, but Jackson Hole Symposium, and then September, it could pivot normally.
mm. In that case, I see we're looking at gold. Gold seemed to have sparked a lot of attention last week. I think it went by a lot of trading experts here at Live Education's analysis, and I saw some of the viewers in the chat throughout last week just verifying how the experts essentially analyze gold before the moves.
Absolutely. Look, gold is always, I think, the most popular product. I don't know
Mm,
why, because it's very hard to trade. Gold has, there is no fundamentally, it's really hard to grab it. I don't know why gold should go up or not should go up. So you're building always a new narrative around gold. Sometimes gold is going up because inflation is high. Sometimes gold is going up because there is geopolitical fears, and it's changing all the time. It's very difficult to trade, but it is very volatile. So it can
mm.
go $30 in one day. And if you are in the right position before the move happens, you can make quite a lot of money quite fast. um,
In that case, take us through this chart. What is where have you managed to get
so
yourself
I
in
am
here?
short at the moment. I tell you the truth, I don't know if this is from the previous week still. So when we look at the daily chart,
Okay.
I have the chart is very complicated. I can go into the weekly chart first, which is very long term. Of course, we are looking here back a couple of years. But the interesting thing, what we are seeing here is that we have a triple top. So that means we got here to around 2070-80. We got here to 2070-80. And we got again here to 2070-80. And every time after we reach this point, we drop quite fast. So we go into the area even below 1800. And now, here is the question. Does it happen the same time now again? Do we really go back all the way here? Actually, I'm in the camp,
Mm,
yes, it could. um,
okay.
but when you go into a lower time frame, there is actually also bullish sentiment, one could say. Because if I go here into the daily chart, we are actually seeing here an uptrend. Now, right, this is
Yes.
up, and even though this came down, this is still higher than here. So when we look at those points,
Yep.
this could go up and we could make a new high. This is why it looks so complicated. Now, again, weekly chart, downtrend, daily chart, uptrend. But we could argue also that here we start to have a downtrend because here we have lower highs and lower lows. So this could be also a downtrend and we could go lower here.
I
So
see
many
that.
angles to
Yeah.
analyze this. Now, again, I would say I'm in the camp of the weekly chart that this could go lower. The reason is that interest rates might not go down. I think as soon as interest rates go down, gold could rally. But as long as they're high, I think it's very unlikely. And now we go even into the 4-hour charts. And here what we are seeing is a wedge. This is called a wedge when prices are going down, but they narrow more and more and
Towards the
to the downside. And here there is almost no volatility. And what often happens is exactly what happened here. We have a breakout on the long side. And it's interesting that this breakout happened just below the low here. So this you call a false breakout. So it's a breakout to a new low, but there isn't the markets to go even further down. And then you get the opposite direction. Now it gets even more complicated because we could call this an ABC correction. This is from Elliott wave theory.
Okay.
So we correction, and this is just a correction to go now further down. So as you see, there is so many angles to watch this, but this is the angle actually that I am trying to trade. It's a correction from this wedge and expect now this to go further down on a fundamental basis. Now my problem is I felt very confident until Friday. And now over the weekend, I was analyzing this deeper and I'm watching always also the COT report. And the COT report until Friday, it was a rather bearish for gold, but it changed over the weekend. Over the weekend, we get the new data and suddenly I see institutional start to buy here. And that scares me now very much in my position. So you see how complicated it is. But this is why everybody has a strong opinion about gold and everybody is
Mm.
trading it because everybody wants to show the others that they are right.
I think that absolutely makes a lot of sense. It's one of those instruments that everybody feels entitled to have a piece of. But it's very interesting that you mention that institutions have gone ahead and behaved in this certain way, and it makes you think, okay, if the big players, uh, have dove into this market the way that they have, does this influence my angle?
Yes. And it could. So here in this trading account, I trade this actually only on Thursdays. It's a special project that I'm doing
Hmm.
in the beginning room on Thursdays where we trade live and the viewers tell me what I should trade and I trade it based on my trading strategy and I trade it only on Thursdays. So I'm not touching it. I'm short here and I hope it will go still in my direction.
Perfect.
I would say if it would be my live account, I probably would go out now. I wouldn't feel confident enough now that it goes into my direction.
In that case, you make sure to stick to the trade until the following session on a Thursday,
Yes, I do. You know that there is a
just to.
stop loss, so I
Uh-huh.
can't lose more than 1%. There is a take profit. If it goes in my direction, I make a take profit. I don't have to touch it. And actually, this is often very good to do because because what we are doing, we are interfering in our trades too often, and that can lead to losses. So normally, I love the idea that I'm relatively objective. You can't be always objective, but relatively objective if I don't have a position open. As soon as I have a position open, I'm emotionally involved because there is fear and there is greed. I see plus and minus on my trading account, and I'm definitely not anymore objective. I want that it goes in my direction. And often then things happen that they are not good. So it's actually good to analyze it when you are objective, do the trade, and then not touch it. I think this is a general advice. Of course, if you're experienced and if the market is changing, then you can start to interfere a little bit better. But I think there has to be a lot of experience until you do that.
Okay. So I do see several other options, lots of sells, two buys down below. What else is interesting? What other chart is quite interesting to be looking at this week?
There is a lot going on. We have a Bank of Australia interest rate decision, I think, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I actually have to check it, but I'm quite sure. Say, now I'm a little bit confused. Let's check it together. I go to the
Sure.
economic calendar here at XM Live, and I can filter out a couple of things. So I can say I only want medium and high important news, and I want to see it from today, I think, until, let's see, until Thursday. And so let's check. Today we had inflation data from, look at this, it's still month over month they have 9% inflation. This is really terrible. I mean, year over year interest rate
It is.
inflation in Turkey is 58%, 59% almost. That means if you have $1,000 on your account, after 1 year, it's worth only $400.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you just lose if you can't save in this environment. Okay, but we try to check where we have interest rate decision. Maybe we can check here also economic. I want to see, I think tomorrow, let me just scroll down. This is Wednesday already. Thursday, Tuesday. Yes, we have Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate decision tomorrow. They are not expected to change. It's unbelievable. The Reserve Bank of Australia is very soft with their monetary policy.
Yes.
And this is why we see this soft Australian dollar. And I expect if we get this result, Australian dollar will dive even further down.
So at the moment,
And then,
yes, if I remember correctly, you do have an active trade with the Aussie dollar.
it's very likely because I really believe, yes, I have. A little bit in minus.
Yes.
It's a little bit in minus, but this can change very, very fast. Okay, so I expect here that this is going further down. This is an hourly chart. If we look at the daily chart, we broke below this resistance and we made a pullback, and we see here a couple of days he tried to go higher, didn't succeed. That's normally a failure, and I expect here now this going further down. Australian dollar, in my opinion, is the weakest currencies of all currencies. Again, due to the very soft monetary policy of the Reserve Bank of Australia, but also because we start to see more and more crises in China. And Australia is very dependent on China because Australia is providing commodities to China. China is hungry always for commodities. China is looking all around the world for commodities. They have over 1 billion people. They need to feed them. They look for commodities. This is why China invests a lot in Africa, invest a lot in South America. And of course, they need the commodities of Australia. So if China is going into a recession, that's also very bad for the Australian dollar. So in general,
Yes.
here is not very good.